Go. We have a special guest in the room today.
We do. Little Tom-Toms.
He's in the background eating his rusks.
Yeah.
He's enjoying it.
Yeah, my son, for those who don't know Tommy's my son. He's in with us today. I'm on parenting duties for the day. So
Parent teacher. So bring your child to work day.
that's it, quite literally. So if this is work, mate.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, look, we're back. And I say we're back, but I don't know why I keep saying that. And then I say that whole part again.
That's okay.
This week's episode is a bit different.
Oh, I'm so excited.
It's been a long sort of couple of days for you. You didn't record last week's episode.
No, yeah, so I was away. I was in Brisbane for the pop-up last week, which was massive, so it was great. And I can't praise the guys that ran that event enough. So Tom,
pretty busy.
Football, thank you, because it was amazing. It was absolutely packed. There was a line through for, I reckon, 20 or 30 metres for PFC stuff. So it was really cool.
Is that a nice hotel?
Yeah, beautiful. Hotel X in Fortitude Valley. So those guys were absolutely amazing to work with for the whole weekend. And yeah, it was. Oh man, what an amazing view, amazing rooftop pool, and a few good restaurants.
We don't have a bird in the room. We have a child.
Yes, you may hear a subtle giggle or scream, and it might actually sound like we're swearing, and there's like a beep over the expletives or something. Like,
if you're listening to this on Spotify, thank you. If you're listening to this and watching this on YouTube, thank you as well. But we're back here in our set. We have a bit of an American theme today.
Yes, this is my favorite. I love these like niche leagues. It's my favorite thing ever.
I know we said we'll do a whole MLS episode. We could have done a bit more and like researched the kits and actually got them on a hand. You did have an amazing Metro Stars shirt, but
yes.
Last week's fill-in host took that off your hands. It was the beautiful Metro Stars.
I think it sort of goes with the way, like, things go hypey and, being in a vintage scene, right? Like MLS now obviously like pipes up and then the MLS stuff that we have in stock, like it kind of tends to sell a bit better than, when the hype is there. So,
yeah, MLS stuff in the 90s is always like a niche collector's area to go.
Beautiful kits though. I think we'll get to that in a bit as well.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Amazing, just time in football really, especially because it was very new for the MLS back then.
Well, they did have the previous league, which was it was the USL, was it? The United, I can't remember that, but when Pelé and they had they had Beckenbauer. So they had an amazing sort of presence in the football scene.
Yeah.
And of course, Neil Cosmos and all those kits they had back then, simple green ones with the collars. But then you go to the more modern era, which is like the late 90s. MLS comes in. The Americans know how to do the whole promo of, marketing. So it's pretty smart. Off the cuff of the World Cup they hosted in '94.
Yeah.
I feel like the MLS was just this perfect amalgamation of just creative Americans and foot and sports.
Yeah, I think you got to look at like American sport culture in general, and like they've got three massive like enterprises with baseball, basketball, and NFL football, and they get millions and millions of people watching. They get millions and millions of dollars backed into all of them.
That's the thing; they got a lot of money.
Yeah, and I get that the population is massive, right? But I think for MLS to grow in the way that it's grown and to be that league that it is, It's recognized globally. Like people look at it like, oh, man, it just looks cool. Like it's just something about the league that looks good.
There is that discussion about the MLS being a retirement league where all these players like Rooney went, even Ibra went, but he's gone back and played Champions League and even won the league with Milan. We see Bale go there and retire, so it could be a retirement place, but then he's pretty young still.
Possibly, but I think with all big money leagues that start off, say later than obviously a lot of these big European clubs, the leagues, you're going to see that to start because these big leagues are going to throw big money at overage players. Yeah, correct, right, to pull them in. But you'll see over time it does work the inverse way, and those experienced players start to develop talent, and we're seeing that now. Like there was a player from LA Galaxy that's just
gone to Barcelona?
Yes.
Yes, the young kid.
It's kind of like the inverse now, right? Like this is, and which is amazing because
you see Toronto when they got the purchase from Bayern Munich of Alphonso Davies.
Yeah.
You're seeing Weston McKennie now playing at Leeds, went to Juventus before that.
Yeah.
But a lot of Americans get the pathway from the MLS over there. We see Reina who done a bit differently and gone to Borussia Dortmund, but of course he's come from a big family, not his parents paying his way through football per se. But I feel like the MLS does have a good niche for creating amazing athletes, but also giving certain athletes a place to play. Like there's a player called Beck Shea who played at FC Dallas, had this amazing future, went overseas, didn't really do well, came back to the US. Yeah. And then you've also got players like Freddie Adu who had so much thing, but that's when American marketing went wrong.
Well, that's probably half the dilemma, I guess, when you think of it from a marketing perspective for players, because their brand is almost sold bigger than what probably their true value is, really. Yeah. You look at, I don't know, I'm a Chelsea supporter, right? I look at Pulisic and I like him as a player. I really think he's extremely overhyped, though. I think Dortmund, at the time he was there, was like a really culty figured club. And I think a lot of people got around Dortmund. And the fact that Pulisic was American, American media in general pumped him up.
100%.
And I think he's a great player, but I don't think he's that elite as everyone makes him out to be.
Would you say Pulisic is a lot better than what, and my mind just went blank, I had his name, the one that played at Fulham, made his name there, cut his...
Willian? Or that's...
my literally was in my head just
American
player. If you're playing at home.
Yeah, Clint Dempsey.
Dempsey.
Way, not even close.
Yeah?
Pulisic is... Like, if you give Dempsey an 8 to 9 out of 10 kind of player... I think Pulisic is like a 6 or a 7 out of 10 in comparison. I think he's the next rank down.
Americans, there's Tim Howard, who had a great time at United, went around, played his thing, and then now you see there's a lot of American players that are doing well for themselves. Yeah. But the MLS itself, from our sort of point of view, creative aspect, you look at the league, they do so well to make people get interested. They recently signed that Apple TV deal, which is going to help them broadcast their game. I think your son wants some rusks. You have more for him?
There's more.
All right, so while you do that, I think the Apple TV deal has really helped the MLS find a way around the issues with other leagues where it's like they can't really get the access around the world. So, like the Premier League, a lot of people in the UK can't even watch the Premier League because they don't have access to the games and have to pay extra.
Yeah.
Well, Apple TV in the US is doing so well for themselves.
And especially when you think about how, you buy a new Apple device, Apple TV comes free for the first 3 months, right? So I think that is a real handy kind of initiative. Yeah. I think that being, that you've got that free access, if you're sort of on the verge, you don't necessarily have access to watching the league or you're not that inclined, but you'd like to. I think, me personally, I'd love to watch MLS and I'd love to get around it more, but because the access isn't as easy as...
We get some games here.
Yeah, correct, some, but not a lot. And, to have that Apple TV connection and be able to watch it for free, realistically.
Is it available on Apple TV in Australia, or is that only US at the moment?
I'm not 100% sure.
I know it's on KO.
Yeah.
But it's like looking at Paramount. They didn't really help the A-League.
No, but I feel like that was at a time where the A-League probably should have gone to Optus.
Yeah.
I think, having...
There was that connection there, Aussie football, Aussie love. I feel like Apple TV has got Ted Lasso, who again has helped Americanize sort of the way into football.
Yeah.
And then you also got American owners like Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhaney, who was on Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. Shout out to the Always Sunny. They own Wrexham, and then you've got the new American owners at Chelsea. Do you think the Americans are really pushing their way into football at the moment?
Yeah, definitely.
Aside from the kits that we're seeing, we'll talk about that soon. It's the whole episode. But do you think Americans are doing well, or do you reckon people like, of course, Chelsea owners of going in?
No, it's massive. I think if you look at this season specifically, Leeds, and I know it didn't end well for Marsh at Leeds, but I think they started the season on fire. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, what were they calling them?"
United Leeds.
Leeds United States, or something like that.
Leeds States.
Yeah. It was it was cool. I think that became it gave them, I think, a greater appreciation from the general footballing world. And then I think look. Nationality is, I think, irrelevant, right? Because I think it comes back to the individual. We saw with Ange Postecoglou, how Scottish reporters were asking about the Japanese guys that came in, and he's like, I don't care where they're from. They've got a job to do, and if it's the right tool for the right job.
But you do get hyped for that nation who's producing some amazing players. There's always that stage in time where the World Cup happens, and everyone wants a player from that country. Like Morocco, they played so well, everyone wanted a Moroccan player. Yeah. They're like, he played good, I want to sign him. Yeah. Americans could have done better in the World Cup, but there is a pretty good hype around them and the Canadians, who have a great squad. Yeah. Even the Aussies, you see Harry Suter, actually he played this morning against United. He almost scored. Yeah. And to see that was because of the World Cup. So I would say that the Americans just at the moment have a good amount of hype around them.
Yeah, well, we talk about the English tax, right? And then we say that you pay you pay overs for English players, and I think that kind of happens to a degree when you look at it from a general sense, right?
Yeah.
I think I've spoken to some ex-pros in the past, and they were telling me that they'd gone through academies and youth teams in England, and as an Aussie, he's sitting there trialing against a Brazilian. Yeah. And the Brazilian is worth a lot more to them on a transfer market. So they tend to, even if you might be a little bit better...
It's that joke. It's like the surname. It's like John Smithinho. Yeah. It's like he's worth a lot more because he's got Inho.
Correct, right? And I think that comes into play, transfer window and in terms of recognition and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I think look, the stocks have definitely risen on the American front for sure.
I think the best thing about this conversation today is the MLS recently launched their jerseys. And I was telling you just a couple of moments ago that they do this thing where it's a bit ethical as well for them because Adidas is pretty switched on for this. But they do one shirt per team per release. Of course, there's new franchises this year, so there's 2 shirts for them.
Yeah.
But like, you look at the releases, we saw that big thing. If you haven't seen it, go on the MLS page, you'll see it's the white post with 2 kits for each team.
Yeah.
Each team gets 1 release per season. And we've seen some have gone through, 1 for 2, 3 seasons.
Yep.
I'm wearing the Seattle Sounders. It's the Jimi Hendrix kit. Mm-hmm. They've replaced it with the Bruce Lee kit.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I love that they've got that connection to like, modern art, pop culture.
Well, it's people from Seattle, and people forget how iconic Seattle is. Everyone's so obsessed with New York or LA, and they're obsessed with maybe DC United. So it's like for them, Seattle is like, hey, we actually have a bit more history than you think.
That's great. And I think that's awesome that they love to play on that with their kids.
Yeah. What do you think about the whole one kit ethical
I think it's amazing. Like, I don't know, I think there's a lot of companies that are trying to make their kits from sustainable materials. And I think that's going to be
So
a
they
thing.
say.
So they say, right? But I think that's going to be something that gets pushed harder and policed a bit more in the next 5 to 10 years.
I reckon next season you'll see Adidas do it in the Premier League. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing the same United home shirt for 2 seasons.
I swear there has
every year
been.
we get they've changed it.
Okay.
I would like to see the away shirt maybe get changed, and then maybe in 3 years' time you just keep the 3rd shirt.
Oh
second
yeah, of
shirt,
course,
swap the home I honestly don't see why we need a Chelsea home shirt 2 years in a row. They've got one with just plain blue, and the next year they'll add a white collar. It's like, wow, you're making people spend $200 dollars a year for the same shirt with just a different collar.
It's true. It is. It becomes a bit frustrating, I think, but it's hard to say because I feel like there's so much demand for new, right? Like, football fans love a new kit release.
Just make the same kit twice.
Yeah.
People still buy it.
I like the fact that they're doing like this, you pick one to replace. I think that's a good initiative.
Home away, you choose which one.
Yeah, and whilst they're not really using fully sustainable materials, I think it's a good alternative.
Look, it depends on the manufacturer too. Like Kappa and all, I probably have a lower budget than Nike and Adidas do when it comes to expenses.
Yeah.
But I do like it because when you look at it, like imagine you had a home shirt 2 years in a row, and it's just like for like Galaxy now, they can have Chikorita shirt for 2 seasons. They have to worry about getting a new home shirt.
Yeah. On the topic of like manufacturers and their budgets and stuff, how do you feel about?
There he is. That's all right.
How do you feel about the whole league being under Adidas? I know it's Adidas MLS and every club's...
It's like the NBA, they have Nike. It's just a governing thing where they've got a good payout from it. So it's money for the league, money they don't care.
Yeah, okay.
I do like it because it allows everyone to have this sort of collective release.
Yeah.
We see how nice it is. But then you look at the A-League and some teams have weird manufacturers who maybe fans are paying excessive amount of money for something that's worth nothing,
That's a good point.
Like the Adelaide United one, it's amazing. It's a Chinese manufacturer. Nothing wrong with Asian ones. But I feel like they're paying too much money for something that's made in an area that, probably Adidas and even Nike kits are made in.
Yeah. I think for me, so my concern with it originally was that the kits coming out were very stock standard template kits. And it was literally like change the base color, change the sleeve cuff and change the collar, and that was it. But I think, and for me, the reason that was a problem was because it lacked originality. And I think we see in, especially this season's kits, that there is a variance, and like they're templated to a degree.
Some,
but the design and the base layer is so dramatically changed between each design, and that's what I really liked.
2 seasons ago, they did go for the whole 3 stripes thing, but that was like an anniversary thing with Adidas where they had the 3 stripes in design. You remember the Inter Miami when they joined in, they had the 3 stripes, black and white.
First season in the league,
pink. I finally can't believe they have a sponsor. But yeah, I think they've done a really good job in creating this new way of just encapsulating or capturing fans in their imagination. Like every team's got something to represent. And they've done a great job. I do think that MLS do well when it comes to kit releases.
Yeah, I can't agree more. I guess that kind of leads us into what ranking them, I guess. There's still a lot to talk about from an MLS sense, but that's probably a good segue to rank them first. And
there's so much. We'll still talk a lot more about the kit release, but my top 3 is in order. Number 1 would be the LA Galaxy shirt. Love that, the away one. Then we've got the Seattle Sounders, the new Bruce Lee one, which I'm definitely going to be purchasing. And then the New York Red Bull, which I know a bit of a shout out to Red Bull for reaching out to me, but they're sending me that jersey, and amazing. I'm hoping it is authentic, not replica, but either way, it is what it is. But those 3 shirts for me are top 3 only because it's just pushing the boundaries of a shirt.
I'm really keen to see these because I feel like with a lot of kits, we see them online and then we see them in person and we're like, oh wow, this is actually so much better in person.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like it very rarely goes the other way. So my top three, I've gone with Chicago Fire. That like diamond pattern for me was insane, and I think that took up social media by storm a bit. Their crest though, I feel like it literally looks like a CFA, like a fire crew logo. That
you see the one prior to this before they.
Yeah, the old one that was cool too as well. My second one was San Jose.
Yeah,
I love that like mountain
Quakes.
kind of earthquake
Love
design.
it.
So good. And my last one was a bit more simplistic, but I only went for it because of the collar. Kansas City. So they got like a little, I guess called Mandarin kind of button collar, which
I love it.
I think was a little bit different to a lot of
the
the
simplicity in your choices, and I do like how the Quakes have gone for that nostalgic. It's crazy how much a sponsor can change the shirt. Like you look at the three I've got, and you've got like Providence, and then you look at this one, the Zuli.
Yeah.
It's crazy how over the season that shirt with Zuli would have looked a lot better, like the current one I'm wearing.
I know, yeah.
And then you look at the MLS, the LA Galaxy one, Herbalife.
Yeah.
Like it just works perfectly.
It does work well.
Pyramid schemes aren't the best, but like Herbalife looks amazing with the yellow on the shirt.
I think you look at the San Jose kit, and I'm sort of like, oh, you take the sponsor off that, or you take the top half of the sponsor off that, and you're like, oh, that's actually nice. It fits
like
nicely.
intermedia. It's like I know it's probably what is it? Is Cloud Communications? Sure, they got a better logo than 4 little stripes. That's actually disappointing on that.
Yeah,
end.
I know. But like you take that off, and I'm like, oh, it'd be one of those, when they release a kit and they don't have a sponsor yet. You jump on the kit before the sponsors press on it.
That's the Chicago one.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna sponsor that. It's a centered logo too.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? That is, and potentially is. Please reference me in the future. That's going to be the template for the next Man United home shirt. It's going to be centered badge as well.
Really?
So
Wow.
that's definitely going to be the template.
I'm keen to see how they play these out because I love the old centered badge. Like obviously I'm wearing one right now, but it's different when it's a training shirt versus like a match shirt with a sponsor on it because it can be kind of odd where it's like center and then it's a big centered sponsor.
Well, North America and South America for Adidas and Nike are usually the places where they test out templates first. Yeah. Cola had the Condiva 21 before many other countries and teams had it. And I remember when we saw the LA Galaxy kit last year, they had this pattern that was literally a pattern that was used all over Europe after that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're seeing some of these Adidas templates next year in other clubs.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes out in the next sort of 12 to 24 months because I think it's going to be big, especially with the Women's World Cup in there as well.
Overall, I think they did a great job. I love the photo shoots that the MLS do.
Oh, man.
And shout out to Pete Mullen of Soccer Bible. Beautiful shoot and the film and everything in the
guys
studio.
are open.
They just do so well, MLS, when it comes to promoting the league and the imagery.
Yeah, we said it.
Did you see all the videos I shared?
Man, I was so impressed with the fact that look, we see a lot of clubs do photo shoots for their kit release, but these guys went to a very an actual video commercial stage like that.
Way beyond that, it was like documentary almost.
Yeah, quite literally. Like it wouldn't look out of place on a Netflix like trailer.
Yeah.
And for me, that's amazing. Like that, it sells the culture. We saw it with Chelsea when they started doing them, and try and explain the history behind the shirt or the design. Why they chose these elements and. Man, for me, I think the fact that like a big amount of clubs went to the degree of making a commercial, expensive and probably would have been time consuming, whatever. But
I would have loved to seen a lot more. Like I showed you, Portland actually did nothing compared to what we see in others. Like Seattle Sounders had maybe 9 squares on the Instagram feed. And then you got Portland who had like, hey, we've got a new kit and that's it.
And then it's back to match day stuff. Yeah.
It's disappointing. But do you like the fact that these clubs put their heart and soul into?
Oh, I love it. It's your identity, right? Like
that's the number one word, their identity for each club. You know.
And I know that like to develop a connection with your fans, your football shirt is probably the pinnacle of that, right? So
it's the only thing you basically see online in the game or in person.
Yeah, correct. And fan wear obviously has a bit of a play in that as well, but. For me, if you can push the fan culture through the football shirt and get everyone feeling like they're a part of this community because they're all wearing the same shirt, man, that's incredible. Like, what an experience as a fan.
It's longevity these kits will have in the future. For example, we'll talk about the 90s kits now. Do you have anything to say about the current kits that were released by MLS?
No, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, go
so the 90s kits, you got a beautiful one on there. We've got a few here in the back. And then, of course, you've got some amazing ones on the website from the past and sold. The Metro Stars one. Mm-hmm. Do you think the 90s, or like, well, it wasn't the 90s actually, it was like 99 to 2004, 5-ish, where they had like Metro Stars, they had Kansas City Wizards, they had the Earthquakes, and they had the Tampa Bay Mutiny.
Yeah.
Amazing amount of teams, amazing brand identity. But there were simplistic kits by Nike, majority, and Kappa by Rapids. Do you think these are going to live up, this current year is going to live up to the hype for 30 years from now, 20 years from now?
I don't know if it will live up. It's hard to know now because I feel like we look back and we think of it like, oh man, I remember Carlos Valderrama at Tampa Bay Mutiny and you're like, oh, that kit was cool. Kobe Jones at Galaxy. Sorry?
Donadoni at Metro Stars?
Yeah, Donadoni at Metro Stars. I think there's heaps, right? And there's so many good players that you connected with like at, I say mainstream clubs pretty loosely, but at another club. And then you see them there, and it just becomes this whole like, oh, that's cool. There's a baseball kind of NFL kind of like oversized jersey style, like which is very much like this. And it's just so cool. It looks good. You got a cool player. Just everything lines up, and I just think, yes. Ticks all the boxes that I look for when I'm shopping for football shirts.
100%.
Whether the ones now can stand that test of time, it probably is going to go back to the fact that they don't.
Is he pooping?
It's probably going to go back to the fact that they do create kits every season, right? So if this, the fact that they do alternate between picking one shirt for every year, maybe that will play a part in not being able to, or will increase the value further down the line.
I think the kits that of the past, that we see some amazing stuff with Metro Stars, and that's forever been more, given a second life with redesigns and inspired designs by other sort of brands. So we see what Pepperoni Pizza did and NSS Sports did. Yep. I feel like the identity of those clubs will forever live with that design. When we talk about the Trefoil United kit, we always remember the blue one. Yeah. We talk about there's so many designs that we think about, and it reminds us of the team. So the MLS did really good. The future designs, who knows? Like, you look at some of these jerseys and we think about the future, like this one here and even the Bruce Lee one. Yeah. They're not really simplistic design. They're templated, not non-templated, artistic impersonations for the club. So these are going to be forever a part of the club's history. You look at the Seattle Sanders shirt you have over there. It's just a green with a bit of stripes. Yeah. I think in the future, it depends on the vibe of football shirt collecting.
So do you think the more outlandish ones will sort of stand the test of time and be those ones that are a bit more sought after rather than the like very basic into Miami kind of design?
I don't think that will live on. Yeah. But I think like the LA Galaxy one that we have in this, the green one, that'll forever be a sought out kit because it's just so. It's a throwback to what was the main kit. Remember that green one at LA Galaxy? And then we look at this one and we're like, that's just going to be connected to others. Yeah. Even your selection, I reckon out of the three you've selected, the Chicago Fire will be one.
Yeah. I think like, do you reckon that LA Galaxy one gives you a bit of like the Ajax vibes from, I think it's their away kit from this season or last season?
Last
the navy one with the sort of patterned collar.
Yeah.
And I think those, I don't know, maybe those like, I know it's not so much a crazy out there collar, but it's it's definitely one that you're going to remember, I think, in a few years' time.
100%. I know your little one's getting tired, so if you want to quickly check him out, go. I can talk to everyone while you're doing that. So yeah, basically everyone listening to make sure to subscribe to our socials. We don't have a child in every episode, but he's fine. I actually have no issue, so hopefully Paul doesn't feel guilty at all. These episodes are always done on a Monday morning, but today I had a bit of a thing going on. But make sure to subscribe to Between Two Shirts on Instagram, which we need to actually post a lot more. Hopefully we'll get some reels to you in the future. Paul's got PFC Vintage, not PSV Vintage. I've got Talking Shirts. Thank you to everyone that's followed me in the last couple of months. It's gone insane. I'm about to hit 13,000.
Man, I can't believe
you're enjoying it. What's the Rusks?
Yeah, he's got back on the Rusks. Your socials have been absolutely pumping at the moment.
I've stopped posting, and I wanted to see if it slowed down. It slowed down a bit. Yeah. But I'm like, I'm happy. Just 10, and that's it.
Man, it's crazy. I've been getting like messages about like Talking Shirt, and they're like, "Oh man, we found you through Talking Shirt." Like,
that's good.
It's amazing. It's good to see the kid community is like not slow down, because I think that was one thing I was sort of not like I was conscious from my own business perspective, but I think I loved it. Like I had so much fun with what's going on with football shirts in general, right? And I'm glad it hasn't stopped, and I'm glad it's still kind of like, I feel like it's fast tracking. If anything, it's getting bigger.
Women's World Cup coming up this year, so hopefully see a bit more dominance in there. Of course, Jamaica kit, Italia kit, and of course future Matilda kit in the future. Yeah. Who knows when that's coming out? And then I think the MLS has done perfectly well. Look, we won't talk too long. I know you've got your life to live, and I've got my life to live, and we've got other things to do tonight. MLS 90s and 2000s, they did a great job. Forever sort of they've cemented their part in the football culture. They had a 10 or 15 year just boring state of MLS kits.
Do you reckon that was because of Beckham? And not because of...
But no, the LA Galaxy kit was perfect.
I think it was good.
There was bits, bobs here that were good.
Yeah, but do you think it was because he pulled so much attention, the rest of the league was just nothing?
I would say so, but I still think that... I don't know why my voice squeaked in. I sounded like Charlie...
Charlie Day.
Charlie, literally. I get that a lot from people, sorry. I'd say so, but I'm looking at the 2000s here. There are some amazing kits. 2002 New York Red Bulls.
Yeah,
they had the Metro Stars. So, that was the year they trained. Yeah. LA Galaxy 2003. When did Bex go there?
To Galaxy 06? 05, 04, 05, I think.
So we look at that, and then that's when they came Red Bull. There we go. Yeah, there we go. 2007 iconic kit. You remember Beck straight away. You don't have to worry about it. And then you keep looking forward and forward in time. You look at Seattle's kits back then, the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
That was their iconic moment. Philadelphia Union had that beautiful sort of simple design.
So many nice
but the kits weren't as creative as they are now. I would say they started getting creative around 2013, as you can see the Toronto kit, which again, is that Insigne? No? Who went? No.
That's where he's there now. Yeah. But like, there was definitely like a weird lull. It was almost like it was like started off, new franchise, and I think Nike slapped a bit of money in there. Yeah,
16,
and that like you
Columbus
can see,
Crew.
it started. It definitely like it died at one point. It's kind of like went real basic with kits, and it's really just come back hard.
Yeah. The 2020, 2021, they went for this full-on template. See how they had the whole 3 stripes?
Yeah.
That was definitely dominant. And then last year, look at these. Look at the top 3 from last year. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
Boom,
yeah.
color. And then now
Blocks.
this one. This is the current one. Boom, color.
Yeah, see, it's amazing how it's gone from being a very, almost literally black and white design for teams from 5 years ago, maybe say 8 years ago. And then you've got now, and it's just like this vibrant, out there, crazy, patterns, designs. Which, man, that's what everyone wants to see.
Last topic. So, price-wise, do you think Adidas has seen this? And of course, they're releasing one shirt. Do you reckon it's a lot more profitable for them to have one shirt and a whole league that does well on the shirt sales for Adidas's brand, rather than having 2 shirts at mediocre designs? And of course, price-wise, like I want to tell you right now, you can so you say yes or no to that, and then say price-wise. So price-wise, 94. Replica and 160. This is US for authentic.
So you're almost doubling that, I guess. So you say just a bit under doubling that for Australian dollars for our Aussie viewers. Look, on the having only one new kit a season, I think it's a bad thing for sales. I think like if you love your club, and I'm sure you would see this with United, right? I think for this season I've got 2 Chelsea shirts, 2 for this current season.
Yeah.
I don't think having a new second kit every year would be a bad thing from a sales perspective. I think, yes, it is wasteful, but I think from a sales side of things, I think it is still important to do. So if they're doing it for other reasons, I don't know, maybe they're not seeing the types of sales that we would see through Premier League clubs or alike. I'm glad it's not nine kits like Napoli, but I think they're still on the right path in terms of creating a really nice kit. So I guess maybe it's quality over quantity in this situation where they have one amazing kit a season that they change, create so much hype for, and hope that those sales justify the fact that they only have the one for that season.
Yeah.
The price wise, I think that's probably a little expensive. But in saying that, I think you've mentioned this multiple times over, where we're moving away from these stadium shirts. So we are moving towards having player spec only. I think
only one shirt, which we might see in the future where it's just one offering. Look, I think the price-wise, it is what it is. We're currently living in a massive time where cucumbers cost $5.
True.
I say that every time, but it's expensive to eat. And then secondly, I think having the one shirt or one replaced shirt, having only 2 shirts available in a league, sorry, I need some water, would be beneficial for families who don't really have the money. If someone cries out, I want this shirt every season, home and away, that's 2 shirts at $220 they have to pay.
It's a lot of money, yeah.
Aussie dollars.
Yeah.
So it's 440 Australian dollars for 2 shirts. I'm sure they make a lot more profit, so that's the thing. I would say one shirt's better.
Yeah.
If they go a home shirt this year, away shirt next year, and they just keep changing, it's one shirt they have to worry about.
It's kind of funny now that I think of it. Like when I put a lot of stock through the back end of the website, we have to input like the years and then obviously the club, and doing it from like the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. It's very much like Man United's 2000 to 2002 home shirt, and it's like, hang on, that's 2 seasons. Well, yeah, it's 2 seasons because it's crosses over.
Those shirts that last 2 seasons.
Yeah, and now you think it doesn't happen now.
Nah,
there's even
MLS,
like some leagues that are. I think it might have happened a lot for leagues that only played within the calendar year. So I think J League might have played within the calendar year back in the 90s. Because you see a lot of like, or there's a single release kit, like it might be like a Copa America edition. I think like River Plate, I know, has a 1996 Copa America shirt, so it's only for that year. But yeah, I think it's almost weird seeing it now where it's transcended from being the expectation of it, just kind of there's a new shirt that it's been 2-3 years or whatever.
Yeah, but the MLS does have training shirts where they do well. They do like one training shirt every 3 months. They have a new design. I love it.
Man, I'm a big suck for training shirts in general. MLS
and
not,
MLS is
but
the best one when it comes to training shirts.
yeah, like I don't know. I think there's something about maybe training shirt, third, fourth shirt, whatever it is. Something about like being able to support your club in something that's a little bit alternative.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool. I think
It gives you an opportunity to push the boundaries, but then you've got clubs like Cedar Sanders who just do that normally with
yeah,
their
you do,
league
it, you
kits.
do it in your home or away kit.
I would say if you're listening to this and you're looking to buy some of the new shirts, definitely invest and save into getting the authentic shirt. I do have a replica right now, long sleeve. It was the only way I could get long sleeve. I wanted this just to see the pattern extend. The differences are pretty insane. To think that there's parts of the shirt that aren't included in the replica or the authentic is really a downside to it. But the price wise, I'd say wait till the end of the season because these are available throughout the season.
Yep.
That shirt from last year that I really wanted from LA Galaxy, the one with the stripes, there was like another retro one. That one got replaced now. But like that was $220 last year Australian dollars, and now it's at $80.
Yeah, wow.
So I was like, I waited a whole year. I can get it in any size that I want.
Yeah.
And there's a sale.
It's funny that like if you're there and you're going to games actively, maybe there's more of a reason to want to have the current season kit at the time of release. But if you're not there and you're this is a kit collector, right? You have no connection to the club. You're just buying this shirt because you like it. I think you're on the money. Like, I think there's no point waxing that sort of cash on.
Yeah, the shirt's always available. I don't know why people rush to get shirts. That's always the thing. Like retro ones, maybe differently because there's only a few available. But new shirts, just wait a couple of months and get it on a sale. Don't buy them when that day out comes out, unless you're like one of those super fans who wants it. And that's why I don't like these special releases like AIK, the Swedish shirt. It's like 132 shirts made. It's like, and then people are gonna go buy them and sell them.
Oh my god! So I obviously I've got the marketplace component of the website, so people selling their shirts on PFC, and oh my god, I could not believe it was. I think it was resold. To be honest, undervalued. Right, the guy resold it for $500 Australian dollars or $550 or something, and like that's obscene for a shirt. It did come in like an amazing box with some amazing information, and like it was really really cool in terms of like presentation and the design of the shirt and whatever. But that value is obscene. I know it was like, I think it was like a 150th anniversary shirt or something like that. It could have been 130.
Yeah, 130. Because every year was 130, 131.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, how often is this going to be done? It's got to lose value, right? If they're doing it every single year. It's not like it's a centenary kit where they do it once.
Yeah.
But man, I just like, how is the value so high for a club that doesn't really have a big presence like globally?
Oh, look, I think Nike's just overhyped that. And Proto Rec, again, they make a special kit and they sell it. I bought a Torquay shirt, Torquay United, from the middle of nowhere, UK. Minnows, like below like the pyramid of the UK. And I paid $80 for a shirt that they'd released and I was like really happy with it.
Yeah, crazy.
But yeah, it is what it is. I know your son's going to get really tired soon.
Right.
I don't want to...
We'll finish off on the MLS
play
fight.
the game. But before we play the game, there is the pop-up.
Yeah, we do. So we've got 4th and 5th of March. So we're here. Tommy's very excited about the pop-up. He's screaming in the background. So Ultra's obviously running their 4v4 comp. And we're here. This kid, oh my God, I don't even know if you're going to be able to hear it or not.
I hope the aircon's not hitting him. Because
No, he's good. Shh. So we're going to have a massive event here that day.
It's all right. It doesn't bother me.
I know it's going to be so shit to listen to. It's massive event that day. Obviously, we're going to have our normal pop-up event as per normal at Panenka, but it's going to be in the store at Ultra this time. And we've got 3032 and Unwanted FC as well coming down.
Cool.
So it's going to be cool. Like, obviously, Panenka is going to do their thing with food and drinks and coffees and all that sort of stuff. But you can come watch football as well. So it's good to have that. Sorry, 4th and 5th of March. Yeah. So Saturday, Sunday. If you're playing or not playing, it doesn't really matter. It's
cool.
Either way, so it's good.
Let's play this game. So you can get home, I can get home, and your little one can actually chill. If he wants to come in the middle of there,
we could bring him in. It'd be funny actually. Did he play in the MLS? Is the question.
All right.
And I've got a list of players here who did or didn't play in the MLS. So I'm going to see if you can remember. All right, we'll start off with Alessandro Nesta.
No, he didn't play.
He did play.
Oh, what?
Montreal Impact.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Didn't know
I
that.
was surprised by this.
So did he actually play there?
Yeah. So Montreal Impact, it was crazy. Like, it's funny to see, like, you see some of these guys, we were saying before that connection with MLS in the 90s. Like, I think Nesta was there, like, geez, it would have been late 2000s, maybe 2010s-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Montreal Impact, it was pretty cool. Hristo Stoichkov.
Stoichkov definitely played there.
Yeah, he did. Chicago Fire.
Oh, wow.
I thought that's pretty cool. I'll try and test you now. Anelka.
Impact, Montreal.
No.
Where?
I know who you're mixing him up with, actually.
Yeah.
Another Chelsea striker.
Yeah, Drogba played there.
Yeah, correct.
French, yeah.
Fun fact, he actually played NSL as well. Sorry, USL.
USL, yeah.
Phoenix Rising.
So he played Phoenix Rising.
Yeah, so he went to Montreal Impact, then played Phoenix Rising just after that. Schweinsteiger.
Yeah, Chicago.
Yeah, I thought you'd know that one.
Yeah.
We'll go from a local one. Danny Allsop.
Oh, where did Danny Allsop go? Was it DC?
Yeah, it was DC. Good guess. That's nice. Not bad.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yannick Bolasie.
New York Red Bulls.
No, didn't pay for anyone.
Oh, didn't he? I
think
think I saw Sean Wright Phillips.
And last one, Christian Fuchs.
Oh, he looks like a San Jose earthquake guy.
He's actually Charlotte.
Really?
So he played at Charlotte, and then there's a USL team. Oh, I can't remember the name. It's Charlotte something. Yeah. So he actually played for both.
Charlottetown? No.
It's long. I think. Charlotte Independence.
Independence. Yeah. Yeah, I think that we're going to do an episode about the USL teams. There's so many amazing teams.
Oh, so many. That's actually probably a good one. Yeah, we should do that. Because I think that'll be a good way to chat about their culture and then that culture within the leagues there.
All right, look, we're going to end now. I feel sorry for him. I know he wants to play and just enjoy your day. Sorry, Tommy. We'll let you go now. We'll definitely talk more for a J-League episode. But that was our MLS episode. The Inter Miami home shirt is available at Ultra Football. Definitely come to store or online to check out this shirt. It's our only MLS shirt we have in store, but I'm definitely always on our buyer Alex's case to try and get more MLS merch into shop.
Definitely.
Let us know in the comments below what MLS shirt you like. Make sure to message us as well so we know what kind of leagues would you like us to talk about.
Yeah.
And also let me know in the comments so I can badger Alex upstairs what kits I can get.
Done.
Anything else you want to say?
No, I think we're good. I'll see you guys at the pop-up.
We'll see you soon. Stay safe. Stay with stupid people. And
we'll catch you later.
Bye.